Right, these are notes, section 5.5, and the topic is dividing fractions. And I'm going to show you a picture first and try to explain it, and then we'll break it down to rules and the steps you need to take. So the first example is 1/2 divided by 3. So think of that as half of a candy bar being divided by your 3 friends. So the first thing we have to do is take this whole candy bar here and divide it into 2 parts to get half. So that would be about there. So there's the half. Now the half gets divided by your 3 friends. So you got to split that half into 3 parts. And you're left with this much for each person. And how much is that? Well, that is actually 1/6, because the original candy bar, if you would have split it up into equal pieces, you would have 6 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is 1/6. So the answer to our problem is 1/6. Okay, how can we get that without drawing a picture? Here we go. You're going to take 1/2 divided by, and instead of writing 3, I'm going to write 3/1. Because those two, that's the same. 3 is the same thing as 3 divided by 1. Okay, now here's the magic. 1/2, we're going to change the division to multiplication, and we're going to take this second fraction, we're going to flip it, which is called the reciprocal, or multiplicative inverse. We're going to flip it. So instead of 3/1, it'll be 1/3. And now, you just multiply right straight across the top times top, bottom times bottom, and you will get 1/6, just like we said. Okay, so here are the rules, and really you could think of these rules as the steps you need to follow. So these are the steps you need to follow. Here's step 1, step 2, step 3, and step 4. And the first thing we have to do is change any mixed numbers to fractions. So we've been doing that this entire unit, so you're going to keep doing that. Next, the weird rule for division is you change it to multiplication and you flip the second fraction. Reciprocal means flip. So reciprocal means flip it. And you always flip the second one, the second fraction. Flip the second fraction. Wow, that's not very neat. Let me try again here. You flip it, and what I'm talking about is you flip the second fraction. So reciprocal means flip. And which one do you flip? The second fraction. Not the first. It does matter. Flip the second. And you multiply now. And so you follow your rules for multiplication. You reduce. And you do not need a common denominator. Nope, 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 nope. No common denominator necessary. And all you really do is just multiply straight across. Multiply straight across. Okay, if this video is not helpful, you could scan this QR code and listen to someone else explain it on the Khan Academy. But let's keep going. Let's flip our paper over and try some examples. Alright, here's our first example. 2 1/4 divided by 1 3/4. Started just like we do all the other problems. Change them to improper. So you do the little circle trick. 4 times 2 is 8. Add 1 is 9/4. Divided by 4 times 1 is 4. Add 3 is 7/4. Okay, the weird trick for multiplication is you keep the first fraction 9/4. You change the division to multiplication, and then you flip this fraction right here. So this changes to multiply, and this flips. And this rule works. I tried to just show you it with my picture on the other side. So you flip it. That's called the reciprocal. Now you use your multiplication rules. So you could go, let's see, 9 is 3 times 3. And you have your times your 4. On the bottom there's a 4 times 7. You can cancel the 4's. And you're left with 3 times 3 is 9 sevenths. You could rewrite that as 1 and 2 sevenths if you want. Alright, so that's the first one. Next, 2 divided by 1/3. Okay, 2, I'll write 2 as 2 over 1 divided by 1/3. Now I'll use my multiplication fraction my division rules. Keep the first fraction. Strangely enough, you change the division to multiplication. And even stranger, you take this second fraction and you flip it. It's called the reciprocal. And now you can just multiply straight across. And 2 times 3 is 6. 1 times 1 is 1. 6 divided by 1 is just 6. Alright, let's try 2 more. Alright, 4 and 1/6 divided by negative 1 and 2/3. We need to change them to improper. So 6 times 4 is 24. Add 1 is 25. Divided by 3 times just regular 1. Kind of ignore the negative right now. 3 times 1 is 3. Add 2 is 5 thirds. But now don't forget the negative. Just bring it down. Okay, your division rules. Keep the first fraction. Change the division to multiplication. And flip the second fraction. I still keep the negative on top. Flip the fraction, but I just keep the negative on top. It doesn't really matter. You can put it top or bottom. I almost always put it on the top. Alright, now it's a multiplication problem. And before I just multiply straight across, you factor. So looking at 25. Let's see, what goes into 25? 5 times 5. And then the next is negative 3. Negative 3 I'll write as negative 1 times 3. Underneath, 6. 6 is 2 times 3. And then there's a 5 multiplied. Okay, what can I cancel? I can cancel 5's. I can only cancel when it's multiplication. So 5 over 5 is 1. 3 divided by 3 is 1. And here we go. On the top, I have a 5 times a negative 1, which is negative 5. And on the bottom, I just have a 2. And there you go, negative 5 halves. Or, if you like it to be mixed, it would be negative 2.5. Either answer is fine. Alright, last one. Negative 3 and 1/8 divided by 5. If I'm going too fast, then you should pause the video or just rewind and listen again. Alright, I need to change them to improper. 8 times 3 is 24. Add 1 is 25. 25 eighths. Don't forget, though, that it's negative. Divided by, and instead of 5, I'll write it as 5 over 1. Okay, keep the first fraction, 25 eighths. Change the division to multiplication. So right there, division turns into multiplication. And then flip this second fraction. Reciprocal means flip it. So instead of 5 over 1, turns into 1 over 5. Now you use your multiplication rules. Do not multiply straight across yet. Try to factor. 25. 25. Let's go with negative 1 times 5 times 5. And then don't forget the 1 on the other fraction. Then underneath 8. I'm actually just going to, 8, I could go 2 times 4. And then there's another 5. Alright, what can I cancel? I can only cancel in a multiplication problem like this those are gone. 5 over 5 is 1. And then on the top, what do I have left? A negative 1 times a 5 times a 1, that's negative 5. And underneath, 2 times 4 is 8. All right, I hope this is helpful. And again, if I went too fast, just rewind and play it again. And I hope that it helps you with your homework. And your homework should, when you go to do your homework, it should look like these problems. All right, good luck.